Hello guys, how are you doing on this fine day, Monday, the first trading day of the week? Let's see what it brings. And I think from now on, we will do the uranium update every Monday as a default. Yeah, we could do it multiple times if during the week if things get really interesting. But Monday should be Uranium Monday from now on. And again, just released, today's video or a video today because on a lot of uranium stocks and oil, by the way, because I had like 7 alerts during the day ticking in from the TradingView app on trend lines that I personally have set to the charts that I wanted to get an alert on. So a lot of uranium in there, mostly the tech side of uranium. We're talking Oklo. SMR we talked about last week. It is not in this one here. LTBR, LEU. I think that's it from the uranium side. And yeah, again, check it out, guys. Again, this is for members only, so you can find it there. And we will now do uranium. Uranium. And we have seen ever since calling or try to call again, the calling a bottom is for losers, I know, but to me, especially looking at the URNM, I thought this was a big potential double bottom. Again, we have been talking about that for many times, and again, we're up like 10%. Still, not completely sold looking at the charts here. However, we could see a big nail in the coffin when we take out that channel there breaking out, and then we have a whole new, dimension to things. But we have been taking out the internal here last week. Look at the technicals, by the way. That trend line there was our head and shoulders. And we broke out, back test, resistance. If we start to move here at roughly 25.4, I think we could see a quick move all the way up to the lower side of this, right, at roughly 27. So 27 here, marked with that downsloping trend line, should be the next move once if we break here, so 7% from that moment in time on the URA. We can add it on here. You can see resistance right around there. You can see 1, 2, 3 breakdown, resistance. So we haven't really been seeing the big volume spikes just yet here. I would love to get a good like a candle with them with some volume. Yeah. Speaking of, again, this was the low there, saying, hey, this is really good double support. Midterm, 4-year trend line holding. Shorter term channel here, roughly 32 was our, talk about, hey, we might see a local bottom at least, right? And by local, I mean this gives a bounce and then it could roll over, absolutely. But again, I think this could be part of a bigger low as well. The big one here for me to confirm that big low is 37. Look at these two, the double bottom here, the breakdown there. Short-term rail here, I want to show you on the 2-hourly. It's actually quite interesting because during the day here, I started to sense this channel here. And you actually have to go down to the 15-minute to see it. But this little bull flag here, hopefully a bull flag. But to me, once we stretch it out, it is actually, to me, it confirms that if this starts to flag here and break, again, together with that alignment up there, really good stuff here. To me, that is also a big bottom. And then once we start to trade, north of 36, 37, we can start to measure and actually look at the higher price targets at roughly 42, given that whole bottoming structure. And that will take us, guys, straight into the big, what was its name? The deep seek gap down, big resistance there, by the way. So interesting here, what will happen during this week. Again, we could break that flag at any moment there, but again, it will, if it wants to break, it will happen during this week, and I will say most likely Wednesday. So most likely. But again, here looks like we are in for a big bottom here. And definitely to me, I will say that pit there to here, that is your neckline straight across there. And boom, boom, right? Big head with a double bottom. That's really good also. Measured move right there to the neckline. Beautiful. Flagging. So for now, really good signs that we are seeing a bigger bottom on the URNM chart, especially once we trade north of, let's say, 37. Really good. Really, really good. So URNJ, just again, we have this yellow uptrend here, which was our initial and still is channel to get back into. We actually broke down and just kept dumping all the way down to the lows over here. And now we're seeing a little bit of a pop here. And we're actually fighting a little bit of resistance here with that pivot low and the lows from over here. You can see we're basically sitting in the middle there. I do still believe that we could be, and then back test. Then we will see what happens there. But often you get a back test of such an important trend line. So we are now at 16. And again, I could see us going to 17.5 in the short term here. When and if we break the horizontal resistance here at like $16. Yeah, again, these are the small guys, the URNJ, the juniors. They are very radical. They are all over the place compared to the URNM, both being volatile for sure, but URNJ, a lot of small explorers and all that good stuff. So therefore, a lot of volatility, a lot of volatility. Again, we talked about it there. Is this a good place if you want to go bottom fishing? Not. I will not say this is a falling knife because, well, technically it is. But to me, it has just gone so far. We're back to the all-time low. Again, when you come to all-time highs, let's flip it, by the way. This is actually quite good. When you come to all-time highs after such a breakout here, and just kept running, you're getting to the triangle high or the all-time high, you sell, right? Because you're expecting a pullback. Same thing here, just complete collapse. And again, you're expecting a pullback at the all-time low. That's why we said, 14, 15? Yeah. If you want to buy low there and get some juniors ETF, that was the place to do it, really. Nukes. Oh, Nukes. Yeah, this is, again, the view or the thesis that were made on the video for the subs with regarding to OCLO, LTBR, LEU, which is a big part of this stock here, or this ETF. And the reason is for Nukes uptrend. Cool. Very cool uptrend there. We tagged it there, being the head of that head and shoulders. We will come back to that. Broadening structure. We also said, hey, we might have a lot of support here at roughly, 39-ish. And to me today, confirmed bottom bounce also from the upsloping trend line. Really good. We have the resistance up here. As long as this channel is intact, we could see, 60 in the Nukes. That's 50%. Again, imagine what that would do to the, LTBR, for instance, right? Zooming in here, you can see the head and shoulders broke today. The only downside in quotes is we left a massive gap here on the 2-hourly right there. So we will keep that on our radar. We will have it there just to, again, we could be closing that before going higher. Ideally, we hold the neckline. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Measured move from this bottom here is roughly 47. Again, overperformance is fully expected, but that is the measured move, the math behind the bottom there, roughly 47. Aligned with these highs over here. So that is, again, a little bit of extra confirmation. And, ideally, we actually, you can see we have this broadening structure as well, which were low volatility, high volatility, right? So Nukes here, really good day. And as long as we stay above here, the trend line. So let's say you buy here at 43. As long as you stay above basically the trend line here, like 40, 41, then 42. Again, depending on when it breaks, you're all good. You're all set. I like the entry here if you want to get a broader mix into your portfolio of the nukes here. And if you believe, of course, that uranium long-term, supply and demand, scarcity, all that good stuff will remain. Big bottom here that has been taking roughly a month, roughly. URA divided by the spot price. Again, big support and resistance here at like 0.36, 0.37. You can see if we zoom out here that, again, support and resistance. It's very, very clear, by the way. It's not an exact level. Again, you rarely get that in ratios, but it is basically like a zone here. And that is when you come from above, you have support, right? Bouncing, 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 grinding, breakdown, back test, whoop, testing again, double bottom, really good. Then you can see we broke out, testing, testing. And again, the test held here. Meanwhile, we created that uptrend. That is nice. That is actually not the worst thing in the entire world. And we broke this short-term red channel there. Again, last week we talked about, we might have outperformance by the URA compared to the spot price of uranium. Zooming out, last piece of the puzzle here. This goes back to the highs of 2021. It feels like yesterday, but the pain definitely, will be felt for like an eternity. No, don't get me wrong here, but again, big downtrend here, big, 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 big downtrend. And once we can start to break the upper here, that is broken. And to me, this price action is really, really good so far. Until proven otherwise, I expect this channel to get taken out, and we should rally all the way up to roughly 0.7, meaning that from when we break here, we should have 60% outperformance by the miners compared to the metal. And I think that is a period where the metal goes up as well, due to reasons we have been discussing for the past few weeks on the U.UN. And this also, in my book, is the broader view. As you know, I've been saying this like 1,000 times, I know. The broader view of a big Vikov accumulation pattern. You can find the videos on the YouTube. I think, no, at least you can do it on the Substack for sure. I'm very positive that it is there. And basically what it looks like is something like that, and then you go higher. So until proven otherwise, this whole pattern alone, the Vikov, that is my view, and it will not change again until I see something that invalidates or validates. Invalidate is the correct word, right? I think it is. That thesis. So again here, short term, we're outperforming the metal. That's all that matters, basically the ratio. URNM divided by the spot price. Again, bit of a weird chart compared to the URA for reasons. Again, URNM is more miner heavy compared to URA that also have the tech side of uranium within it. But to me, the only thing that matters is the 4-year downtrend here of the channel. You can see tagging here many, many times. We can't seem to break. When and if we break, guys, you definitely 100% want to be in miners. Again, you don't want to be in the U.UN. You don't want to be in the metal. You want to be in the miners. But for now, the U.UN seems to be the better play. And we need roughly, let's call it like 15% outperformance by the URNM compared to the metal. Then that flips very quickly, and miners will have a big run. Again, you will rarely have a very, very rarely, I will almost say never, have a scenario where the metal goes down hard and you have miners rally. It doesn't make any sense. So it will probably be a period where the metal rises, but the miners will outperform heavily. That is the definition of a bull market, like over here, right? Just completely outperformance. The metal went up quite hard. Miners just completely outperformed this by, 300%. So U.UN here, good little chart. I really dig. Again, that was to me a big moment there. Again, we're not completely, totally out of the woods, but again, I love the price action still. We broke out, we rallied, we were flagging here. Again, the extension. Look at that, the extension. And this should take us to the upper blue here. Once we break, we can start to do the measure. We add it on top. So again here, 24, potentially 25. And again, when and if we break that whole big bull flag, which we have been envying or looked at because it's so pretty for like a better part of half a year, all of a sudden we could be in for that break, later on. But for now, the short-term daily price action, I don't see any problems. I really don't. Momentum-wise, still coming down a bit, but we're not getting any big sell-offs, for now at least. Bollinger Band, bit of a, not the tightest of compressions, but still, to me, we are flagging here. And once we start to trade north of like 22, maybe a bit lower, 21.7, we should be rallying as well in the U.UN once again here. And remember, again, the first impulse was made here. That's the first, the second here, in my opinion, and then the third and final. And again, we definitely want to start to chop higher here, if you can say that. So really good. Spot price, nothing bigger here. We have basically been doing nothing for like a month. So we will not spend time on that. The spot price, excuse me, the gold silver ratio. Again, I have done multiple videos on why this is, to me, the key to the mining sector. Yada yada. Go check it out. I mean, you have heard it many times, the theory, the story, and we want this to go down, obviously. Momentum here is definitely stalling short term. This is roughly 14 days. So you can see here, very clean uptrend. And now we have come down and bear flagging. So key moment here, because if we start to break to the upside and trading north of like, 92 and change, this ratio here is actually breaking out quite big. And that is insanely bad for all markets, especially gold miners, but also mining in general. So this bear flag here is very important in the short term, that, this little bear flag here, how you want to draw it, want to come down. That would be ideal. But to me here, we're still making higher highs, right? And higher lows. So still the definition of an uptrend. But where this is bull flagging, this to me could also be the case, right? We are topping out here potentially. So one to watch here, and I think we will get the answer. We will get the answer, yeah, today, because we will get it today actually. That is the neckline which we want to break. So anything below like 90.8, 90.9 to be more specific, really good for, the overall bullish views of the markets. And here you have a trend line as well. So, and we are flirting with it here as we speak. So let's see how and which route it takes. Good. URNM divided by Cameco. Long downtrend for the Cameco. Still nothing big of a change. We want the URNM to outperform Cameco. Why? Because when that happens, it means that the smaller guys, like the Laramide, like the Canalaska, Denison, what have you, Energy Fuels, and all these smaller guys are outperforming the blue chip. Again, that is exactly what we want to see. That was a good period. This hasn't been the best period. And what are we looking at now? Again, to me here, first, second, third impulse, I do believe we're trying to put in a weird kind of low over here. Range bound here for some time. Let's see how it really, performs. Again, this is not a ratio that is critical to me by any means, but it's nice to have that extra bias or confirmation. URA divided by the spot price. So again, similar to the URA divided by the spot price, in this case the U.UN, this remains the same, that whole wick curve pattern. And I think we are, again, as you can see here, for the better part of 2024, we are basically making higher highs and higher lows. And hopefully that is the low right there before taking us, potentially higher. So nothing really big to report on this ratio as well. So here, I think short term, very promising, and we are definitely in the 2 hourly uptrend here. Let's see how high it can go. The higher the better for the initial move out of a bottom, meaning that the buyers and the are in full control. So we want that push, the initial push, to be as good as possible. That is all, guys. Again, have an amazing day, and cheers. Bye.